Hey, Universus. I wanted to combine what I did with all my day yesterday. I completely wasted my Saturday playing the Baby Steps demo, and didn't quite get I saw there was an achievement I could have gotten. I want to try to get that today, and I figured I would combine this with Universus a little bit and listen to David at Let's Talk UVS, or I think it's at Talk UVS on YouTube. Um, Go check out his video about feel good cards and don't UVS like a casual. And I was tickled when I thought of kind of combining it with baby steps. You know, we can kind of, we have some baby walking. We have baby casual gameplay, and I thought, yeah, this is synergy. So let's do this. Let's go hit play on this, and let's hit play on the game.
Examples of what I call feels good cards. They make you feel warm and cozy and comfortable, like a blanket to a little child or their face.
Yeah, go watch his video if you haven't. He's gonna have a bunch of stuff on screen that I'm not gonna have on screen that I'll miss if it's super important to the narrative of it. But I think I listened to the first 10 minutes of the video, and hopefully this will be workable. Different flavor reaction content today.
Favorite stuffed animal. But as is often the case in life, growth does not occur in simple settings.
You're okay. You're okay.
To let go of these things that make us feel so nice, and we have to watch them burn. It's like Sam to Frodo. You need to drop the ring into the fire. And I know a lot of you are probably have your walls up right now. You saw Nice Try, Keiko Zayden.
I wonder if I'm gonna fall every time. He makes that.
Hunter, you heard me say feels good. And you might have had an emotional reaction to that. You know, maybe Keiko Zay just helped you win a game the other day at your local. So you remember a time that Weakest Hunter won you a game by drawing 3 cards and finding what you needed, or by using the EX3 on it. So a lot of you might have your walls up right now.
I think what David's saying is that when you love something, you have to burn it. You have to cast it into the fire like Sam did to Frodo. Or I think that's how Lord of the Rings went. And when you love a card, the appropriate thing to do is actually to destroy it and to purge it from your body and to purge that weakness from yourself. Is to stay hard and play good cards and play like what the math tells you is the right. I'll let the video play.
But I'm asking you to let down your walls. Let's talk through these feels good cards, and I think you might end up being on my side. And I think so that letting go of feels good cards and learning to play the real good cards, even if they're feels bad per se, is a major step towards taking the leap. Taking the leap from just winning amongst your friends and your locals to winning at major competitive events like the upcoming Louisville Regional. So let's step away from Lord of the Rings for a little bit, and let's turn to the scriptures, right?
Really, I think I might have had this idea just when you said major step. Honestly, that might have been it.
Apostle Paul. I took this scripture and I translated it to UVS speak. So when I was a casual, I spake as a casual, I understood as a casual, I thought as a casual. But when I became competitive, I put away feels good cards. This is the next step for a lot of players to getting better.
Wait, I'm Nathan.
You know, and casual players.
Jim.
Yeah, no, I remember
feels good
from
cards
the cave.
faster than my kids flock to like the ice cream truck when it comes. You know, you'll find feels good cards.
I gotta say, highly recommend this game. This demo even. The game's coming out in like September. So it'll be a little while before we can actually play the full thing, but the cutscenes are incredible. I'm hoping maybe after this, there's still a couple more cutscenes I bet there's still to find. Even after the first demo wall, there's at least 1 or 2 more that I found already. And yeah, like I'm gonna skip the cutscenes whenever I run into one in this, just because I'm here for Universus, and I don't want to like steal all of the humor out of this. Like don't spoil yourself. Like go play this game. It's really good. Anyway, when I was a casual, I spake as a casual. This is a fascinating application of script. I kind of want to come back and read this again later, look up the original one and see how that see what I feel about that relative to this feels good or feels good idea. Anyway,
all over the place being played, and people are very resistant towards being told to stop playing them. So I've got kind of 2 overarching categories of feels good cards that I found in my studies on the subject. There might be more, and if you have another category that you'd like to suggest, feel free doing so in the comment section of this video. But the first category is a feels good card papers over feels bad
I feel bad right now. Yeah, I played on controller yesterday, and so I kind of got the hang of it. I think I got a lot of the movement down, but I'm still gonna beef the basic walking mechanics. The muscle memory is like totally gone with mouse and keyboard. So I think I'm gonna try and go off the beaten trail because like I said, I want to get a particular achievement in this game that I'm pretty sure is gonna be this direction. We're do some stuff that as a casual you wouldn't want to try to attempt. You wouldn't want to attempt in baby steps, or you want to take some baby steps and walk like a casual on your first trip up the mountain. Oh my god. Okay, let's put the Universus back on. Let's gets back into the thesis of what makes a feels good card.
Of Universus.
Oh, this is so good.
And we all know the feels bad elements of Universus. You've heard your buddy, or maybe you said a lot of these things at events before. I checked poorly. My rival checked like a god. They just checked straight 5s and killed me. I didn't draw enough attacks. I didn't see the gas. Didn't find the orange cards. My attack got blocked. Or, ouch, taking damage is painful. I didn't block an attack, and then I took damage. Those last two are kind of like mini feels bad elements, but you hear the first three all the time. It's like the number one excuse for people whenever they lose. And, okay, yeah, the fundamental principle behind this is loss aversion. Daniel Kahneman won a Nobel Prize for his work on this subject. I think it was called prospect theory. Loss aversion was like a foundational aspect of prospect theory.
Got to this part
it's
of
just
the video.
a part of it. But basically what he found was
prospect
that
theory
humans
citations, Danny
feel
Kahneman.
the emotion of losses more than they feel good when something good happens. So take for example, would you rather have a 100% chance to gain $450 or a 50% chance to gain $1,000? I'll let you pause the video for a moment on both of these problems and decide for yourself. But the vast majority of people, when asked this question, take the 100% chance. They would rather just have the $450, even though the 50% chance is technically, your expected value is $500.
So this is actually kind of smuggling in an assumption that expected value is more real than actual value, which is kind of a criticism of prospect theory, kind of a development. I don't need to get into this. This is but I do have a book recommendation. If you are interested in prospect theory, if you enjoy psychology or any of that stuff, go check out The Undoing Project by Michael Lewis. He's the Moneyball guy. He did a novel. I think it's I don't know what to call it actually. He did a book anyway. It's a book, clearly a book about Danny Kahneman and Amos Tversky, his collaborator, and all the work they did. And it's a really incredible book. It's a really good read. And I think I can't speak highly enough of the actual of the background, like the science and everything, and the social science of that. It's a great story and it's great.
Now let's flip the question.
Anyway.
Would you rather have a 100% chance to lose $500 or a 50% chance to lose $1,100? When asked this way, most people say, all right, I want to gamble now. I don't want to lose money. So I want a chance at not losing money. And once again, the expected value here is negative $550. So both times, humans are picking what a rational machine would not pick. ChatGPT would not be picking these, but humans, we do.
Well,
and that's because we have loss aversion.
A large language model and kind of impersonates people and try to do its best, so it might actually be irrational in the same way as humans are.
We don't
the Terminator might be
that feeling of losses. Here, we just want the sure thing. We don't want it to feel like we lost that $450. Here, we don't want to feel that losing $500, so I'll gamble. And I'll keep gambling and gambling and gambling. To make my money back.
God,
okay, gains and losses are not treated the same in our brains. We focus way more on losses. So anything that helps us not feel these feelings is good.
It's kind of funny listening to that and playing a Bennett Foddy game. Anything that makes us not feel these losses, we'll do anything to do that. And these games are literally about those losses, about falling down the mountain. It's about taking the ride on the snake and losing everything. And the rage game genre is really fundamentally based on the experience of that loss aversion and playing with it. So it's not intentional, but really funny.
Our brain perceives it as good, even if it's not real good. So let's take each of these. one at a time, and I'll give you 3 examples of cards
Let's go.
that fit these categories.
I'm right where I want to be.
3 feels good cards. But just know that for every feels good card I show here, there's like 20 more that I could find as examples. It's really not very difficult to find all these feels good cards on UVS Ultra. The ones that I'm going to be putting here are ones that I see played at a high rate. So I checked poorly. City Rampage, right? Everybody loves to slam City Rampage in. Now I can play all these 5 diff attacks, and I feel better about it. You know, when I check a 3, I actually checked a 5. When I check a 5, I checked a 7. And so City Rampage gets just slammed into decks that it has no business being in. Like, I think most 6-handers should not be playing City Rampage. 7-handers maybe. But a lot of 6-handers, they're just playing City Rampage at such a high rate.
6-hander is
Life of Danger. After you check it 2 or less, that check gets +1. I see people putting Life of Danger into decks where they have 4 2 checks. Okay, let's think about this for a second. 1, what are the odds you're going to actually check a 2? I don't know. It's going to happen like 1 in 5 games. And then when it does happen, 2, what are the odds you actually built a Life of Danger? And it helped you out. And then 3, what are the odds that even if you use the Life of Danger, that it actually changed anything about the game? That it actually mattered that you got that bonus to your check?
Cup.
You know, I'm not saying that these cards never have spots. Life of Danger, obviously, in Air Nick Reagan, where he's playing 12 2 checks, has a spot. City Rampage, when I made top cuts in St. Louis, I got top 8 with Amajiki. I was playing a City Rampage deck. But it made sense for the deck in the 7-hander that I was playing. But I see casuals just...
Wait.
They just... Oh, I'm playing a 2 check? Oh, yeah.
I thought the story
Life of Danger goes in.
I thought we were casting like, what we love into the fire.
You would do so much better at having a foundation that's actually going to do something meaningful. Or Unfazed, for example. After this is blocked, which is another feels bad moment. So in 2 ways, Unfazed is helping your feels badness turn into good. After this attack is blocked, your checks to play cards get +1 this turn. So we love these because our brains are hardwired to love these. Because it feels bad to check poorly. And so saving us from that negative emotion matters to our brains. But if we would let these cards go a lot of the times and play something better, we would be better off for it. All right, my rival checked like a god. Airy Smiles. Breaker 3 on timely counterattack. Frantic Rescue. So Airy Smiles, high block, you block with it, your rival has to play a non-attack card for the next form or pass. Well, this is so situational. A lot of times your rival was done attacking anyway, and so it didn't matter. A lot of times you can't block high. You know, maybe they play a string of lows, or you're half blocking in order to get your Airy Smiles off. You're also flipping a foundation. Is it actually, and let's say when it works, is it actually Is it actually saving you?
What a save.
Probably saving you like 20% of the time. The other 80% of the time, they just say, all right, I'll play this foundation, and then I'm going to kill you anyway. You know, your Airy Smiles meant nothing, but it felt good to play. You know, it felt good.
Severe number.
Timely counterattack, Breaker 3. You know, people love saying Breaker 3. They say Breaker 3 and feel so smug.
I do feel smug when I say Breaker 3.
But timely counterattack's not good as an attack. It's almost like a 3-check action. You know, it's like...
I gotta say, like, I know, so he dropped this 2 days ago. So that was after Chris Bromley, Universus Man of Mystery Extraordinaire, commentator for a long time, so he hasn't had the results so much to speak of lately. Did put up a result with 4x timely counterattack in Mikasa Hope of Azuru, who puts damage on this, makes it into a real attack, into perhaps a real good attack. What a coincidence. I wonder if he's going to grapple with that.
It's not very powerful on its own. It's purely... Decks that play it are purely playing it for the breaker, and in which case I'd rather play something with like a similar ability, like a Showdown, for example, that checks a 4 instead of checking a 3. And Showdown actually also cancels actions, which is really meaningful. Okay, Frantic Rescue after you take damage. Again, another feels bad moment. So double feels good card here. After you take damage, flip it. Your rival's attacks get +1 difficulty this turn. Okay, number 1, you had to take damage to do it. Number 2, your rival might just be done playing attacks anyway, and you're just helping them play the game correctly. A lot of Universus, you win games when you backswing people. How do you backswing? Well, first, they overcommit to their attack string that doesn't work out. Frantic Rescue, if you're using like one of these 3 cards, and then they actually decide not to commit out, and then they build out, then you can't backswing them appropriately like you might have been able to do if you had baited them into playing more attacks. A lot of people, like with the Breaker 3, they'll do that as very first time they can. And then it has a 3 block mod, so they'll like commit their resources out just to say Breaker 3, and then they'll get killed anyway. Frantic Rescue, they'll get killed anyway. By the way, it checks a 4.
Is this the route?
I really don't like to be playing 4-check Foundation.
I don't like to be playing 4-checks either.
Personally,
I think that
I like to limit
feel
the
really
number of
bad when I check them.
Okay, I just didn't draw enough attacks.
But
latent skill comes to mind for me. Flip, discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards. You're not increasing your hand size. 2, there's no guarantee of what you're going to be drawing. 3, if it gets canceled, game over. You just lost 2 cards in hand. Or let's think about like Unrelenting Advance. After this is blocked, a feels bad moment. Mill cards until you mill an attack. Add the milled attack to your hand. But you just clogged your card pool, and a 2-mid-5 is not doing.
You got to back up on lane skill there. So if lane skill gets canceled, you just lose the game. He says that sounds like it feels incredibly bad. So like, why does it feel a good card if it feels so bad?
Doing much. It's not advancing the game state, putting pressure on your rival enough. So all you're doing is clogging your card pool until you get another thing. Like, in effect, it's like a pseudo discard 1 ability, but you had to clog your card pool to do it. Really don't like. It's like the latest. What was it? We had it in the past. It was in the Endeavor deck. I can't remember it. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. Jaw Titan's Bite. 3/4. Discard a card. Get a Jaw Titan's Bite. So we are not increasing our hand size. There's not really another meaningful ability here. Deadlock Stun 2. Everything else gets a damage. Those are fine. They're not like game-winning abilities, And then you go find another Jaw Titan's Bite. And it's conditional whether even you have more Jaw Titan's Bite in your discard pile. And then you're just getting another kind of bad attack, and you're just clogging your card pool while doing it. Like in Porco, Jaw Titan's Bite makes sense. All of these cards have their time and place because Porco just wants to clog his card pool. But in the vast majority of decks that I see running Jaw Titan's Bite, I am.
But I thought we put away casual things when we're trying to grow up as competitive players, right? Like we put away casual cards when it's time to be real good. So I'm somewhat conflicted by the message here.
Not a fan. Okay, my attack got blocked. All right, well, full Cowling Impact says, hey, when it's blocked, your rival destroys a foundation. Satchel Toss. Now they commit 2 foundations. This is my chance. Now you get to clear it from your card pool. These are all little abilities that make us feel nice. But one, we're putting our rival in control on whether or not these abilities happen, and they just make us feel happy when our attack is blocked. But we don't want our attacks to get blocked. Throws are like inherently feel good cards. All throws are. You see beginners and casuals playing throws at a much heavier rate than competitive players typically, because it feels good. It's like, hey, I got half damage in even if you block. If I just play all throws, I'll always be able to get damage in. Ouch, taking damage is painful. We don't like that. Time for Battle. Hey, we get to sacrifice 1, you commit 1. Titanic Combat. I get to build 1 now that I took damage. Smiling Titan. Hey, you have to attack my Smiling Titan instead of attacking me. But now I'm playing this 7 difficulty attack that's understated at a 6 high 6. And it takes me an extra turn to be able to use the ability. And then even when I do use the ability, who says the right answer wasn't just to attack the Smiling Titan and get free momentum for killing a backup anyway? Okay, that's category 1. A feels good card papers over feels bad elements of Universus. Right? We're taking these times in the game where normally we would feel terrible. A feels good card makes us feel not so terrible. And humans value getting out of pain more than they do value something good happening. Okay, category 2 of a feels good card. A feels good card has abilities that work in your mind more often than they work during games. This one's a little bit different. This one's more of a deck building category.
Easy in my mind.
Because the first category was, okay, these are helping elements of my actual gameplay, feel better.
Right,
and now this is, well, when you're deck building, you're imagining all of the possibilities of these cards. And then when you actually sit down and play, it's not as good. Now, this category is not nearly as sinister as category 1. Because typically after some play testing, these will be the cards that you cut because they're not consistent enough. So often in Universus, when you sit down to play, you're battling against somebody and you both have a different game plan. and your goal is to overpower their game plan with your game plan.
But I would
The
love
best
to
way
hear
to do that is to make your game plan
from this kind
as
of story,
consistent
David, if
and
we're trying to get people
powerful.
out of casual gameplay, is to understand what does he mean when he says game plan. What is it? How do I form a game plan? If I'm a casual player, how do I conceptualize victory, and how do I achieve it? How do I chart a path to victory? But I bet that's a different video.
As possible. Inconsistent cards need to be cut. Unless we have a way we're doing something with our character, or our cards are synergizing in a way that turn these inconsistent cards into ultra consistent cards. But most of the time these cards are too inconsistent. They're working in your mind, but they're not actually working in the game, and they need to get cut. And good play testing, you'll end up cutting these cards. So it's not as sinister as the category number 1. So what do I mean by this? Like, an ability is conditional.
Is a good example of a card that works really well in your mind and it needs to be cast out and destroyed. And certainly, like, even if you're Aragorn and you can use the Palantir and confront Sauron, even in the conceptual space that they inhabit, like, you still need to destroy it. You still need to cast it into the fire. It's no good to you. It is the Master's tool cannot destroy the Master's house. You need to destroy it. You need to get rid of it. That's a lesson from Lord of the Rings. That's a lesson from not being a casual.
Situational. An ability allows your rival to be in control.
No.
And maybe not your rival in control, but maybe fate is in control. Jesus take the wheel, or maybe it's just detached from reality. In Discord, I see these cards referred to as like magical Christmas land cards.
Oh, I love magical Christmas land.
Or it just doesn't change anything. Sometimes there's abilities that they feel good to press the button, and absolutely nothing happens because of it.
Do I need to go to the left?
Okay, this comes from our unrealistic optimism, and there have been tons and tons of studies done on this. Oh, I meant to change the image. This is like a badly done AI image. Here, I meant to change it to something else. Oh, well, we'll have to deal with their deformed hands of these college graduates.
All college graduates.
Okay, but there's been lots of studies done on this, right? Like when people first get married, they ask them, hey, what are the odds you'll get divorced? And people are like, oh, 0%, less than 10%. What are the odds that you'll become an alcoholic compared to your peers when you're graduating college? Oh, yeah, I have a much lower chance of that. Or what are the odds that you'll get into a car crash? Or people tend to underestimate the odds of bad things and overestimate the odds of good things. And we bring this with us to Universus. Again, it's normal. It's just our brains doing that towards. But we have to recognize that our brains are doing this. And so it can feel like, turning into the skid on a car whenever you hit the ice or something. Okay, let's take these one at a time. Conditional. Earthbreaker, if your rival has more foundations than you, draw a card. Levi's Retribution, if your rival has 10 or less health as attack is 4 speed. Dangerous Combatant, if your rival has more foundations committed than ready, draw 1 card. The key word here is if. And Levi's Retribution has it 3 times. If. I hate that word. I want my card to play its ability 100% of the time. Earthbreaker is actually double feels good, because then the response after this attack deals damage. Destroy 1 rival foundation. Well, that's putting your...
I paused the video, so wait, so it feels good to put my opponent in control?
Rival in control. We'll get to that in just a little bit. So, 2 feels good abilities on Earthbreaker. The amount of times I see someone play an Earthbreaker and then they don't actually get the draw, and then I block it and they don't even get to destroy it, it's like, yeah, you wasted your time with that card. Putting your rival in control. Okay, think of Vile Seizings like the poster child for this. Your rival makes a check against the 7. If they fail, draw 1 card, and this attack gets 2 damage. Well, your rival is always going to make the decision that is worse for you. If they're not going to block your Vile Season, they might as well just commit 2. And now it's effectively like they half blocked it because you get 2 less damage, and they stop you from drawing a card. A lot of people, a lot of very good players will be committing for that Vile Season effect. And if they choose not to...
I really thought I was gonna, have the cup for sure at the very least by the end of David's video, and I'm now concerned that's not gonna happen. I thought I had this unlocked. But I guess I forgot. I think I'm supposed to get a little over here. Oh my god. You can't just walk up walls a little bit in this game. if you have confidence, if you place your feet well. It's just... oh, let's get punished for trying to do that. Oh my god. Okay, let's play the video again.
That's probably because it doesn't change the fact that they're just going to block the Vile Season and take 0 damage from it. So what did it matter that you got 2 damage? Strange Energies, you know, they're just going to commit out for it when they need it. Kenny Ackerman, after you deal damage, your rival either loses 3 health or they discard a card. Well, they're always going to pick the one that you don't want them to pick. Also, any attack that says after this attack deals damage. Well, who's in control of dealing damage? A lot of the time, your rival has some say in that. You know, there's a dance that happens when you play Universus. Now, sometimes, you know, maybe your rival has no cards in hand, or they're completely committed out. But most of the time, your rival has some say in which attacks they block. And so, abilities like Mist Despair, after this card after this attack deals damage, your next card try to play ignores progressive difficulty. Well, your rival gets to turn off that ability if they want to. Like Rapid Transformation, I actually really like, but I like it for the cycle lock, not for the response. Okay, or you're putting fate
in the universe, right? Like your opponent decides to play cycle. They decide how many cards they play. They decide how much milling they're doing. It's really incredibly rival dependent. I mean, I think you should let fate control. You should let fate take control, and you should let the ring decide when it wants to go home or not. And that's why this metaphor is not working. I'm just gonna let it play.
Control, maybe even worse than your rival. Punisher's Beam, mill 3, add 1 ranged or weapon card milled this way to your momentum. A lot of times you play Punisher's Beam and you hit nothing. And then you also have a feels good enhance. If this attack deals damage, destroy 1 rival foundation. Well, you're putting your rival in control.
Like he's describing how these cards feel bad, and that's why he doesn't like them.
We saw when I played Justin the other day for like Smiling Titan versus Reiner money match. He would have beat me in the last game, but he needed his Beast Titan's call to mill a certain card that would become a backup that would then burn me for 2 health. But he missed it because it's inconsistent. Because fate was in control.
And then I would fall,
Father Sin, after you play this mill 4, if you mill 2 attacks this way, draw 1 card. Well, sometimes you'll draw, sometimes you won't. When we see these cards, we always imagine them happening. Oh, Punisher's Beam. Yeah, this gives me momentum.
Like that, but we're good.
Well, 67% of the time it does. You know, or Beast Titan's call. Yeah, this builds me backups. Maybe. You know, you can only hope. And then which one? Which one? Who knows? It's based on whatever you mill. Or these cards are Magical Christmas Land, just detached from reality entirely. I picked some recent ones for this. Aerial Kikosho. This one's not even out yet. It's coming out in the Street Fighter decks, but I already see so many people excited, thinking that this is like game-breaking and game-changing.
Yeah, being excited about Aerial Kikosho is the biggest mistake you can make, because you only feel good now, and you don't feel good in the future, which is what matters. What matters is the future and the past, nothing else. And so when you get excited about Aerial Kikosho, that's the good feeling entering your body, and what you need to be doing is to cast that love into the fire and destroy it, so that you can stay hard and you can do only what matters in life, which I hope we'll get to it soon in this video.
King G. Drive 1, add this card to your card pool. After he completely blocks attack resolves, try to play this attack from your card pool. Gets -2 difficulty and +2 speed. So people are like, oh, it's like a reversal coming back into Universus. I can play this attack on my opponent's turn, and now if I'm like playing this in Jamie or something, I can play it, and then I can get an extra drink counter, because now I can use my once per turn ability on my rival's turn too. Or when I'm playing it, my rival will block, and then I'll use it. It's like a 4 difficulty 6i7, you know, and it sounds so wonderful until you start playing the game, because I have played with Kikosho quite a bit already, and I find myself cutting it. It's like the first attack cuts so often, because it ends up being, well, I have to completely block something, so I have to hold a secondary card that full blocks something.
Actually, I know Chris Bromley cut I'm With You from his deck in Mikasa. He said that card's a feel-good card. And, like, I mean, he's got the results to show for it, right? Like, top 8 at the Stark Dark. Like, he's a professional Universus player now. He actually got paid for playing this game, and actually a sanctioned match, like in a legal, like, sense, where he wasn't, like, unsanctioned underground gambling way. So, like, that's really, I trust Christopher Bromley's opinions a lot, actually. I hit play.
And then it has to be the right timing to where playing the attack after the block is the optimal choice, and not holding back Kikisho to block something else in the future. And then if you draw into it and you only draw it, then you're not drawing other attacks that would be better as leadoffs. Even if your rival does block an attack, is it the right time for Kikisho? Like if you have a Tri-Gravity in hand, maybe you would much rather play Tri-Gravity in your sequencing, but now that they completely block, maybe they're never going to block again in that turn, and so it's now or never for Kikisho, and now you have two attacks that really want to be played going at war against each other in your sequencing. It sounds great when you're putting it in the deck, because it's always working in your mind. It's not working in practice.
That's true.
Ackerman's team up. This gets +2 damage for each card clear from a card pool. Oh, if I'm playing like a Mikasa 1, this is going to get like +6 damage, you know, and now it's like a 4 mid-9, and a 4 mid-9 is really good stats on a 4 diff. I love this. And then you put it into the deck, and then you realize that you're clearing 3 cards in a turn, maybe once per game, and then even then, did Ackerman's matter? It's a terrible lead-off attack, you know. Survey Corpse, like, shit! After I block, I get to ready it. Okay,
I think that,
well, in your mind, you're always
Corpse
blocking 3 or 4
French.
times. What about reality? I'm sorry, I've got my lawn. You might hear the lawn work going on outside right now. Okay, or it has an ability that just
the Survey Corps does end up with a lot of corpses, so Survey Corps kind of works.
Doesn't change anything. Like Besiege. This attack can only be blocked by cards with a 3 block mod or greater. Well, if your rival has one in their hand anyway, then this literally changed nothing, other than you feeling good when you press the button.
For me, it feels good about Besiege is that it does 4 damage.
Lust for Battle.
It has 3 difficulty. Those are
you don't
great.
get to pick when this goes off a lot of the times when you randomly mill it off your deck, so it's a little bit about fate and control. You do get to if you destroy it from your stage, but then even then, when you give your rivals next check, -1, your rival is now in control of like when they're going to check. Perhaps they just never check again that turn, and they didn't intend to anyway. And now your Lust for Battle did nothing. Perhaps they just wasted it on their next block that they were planning to fail anyway, and then it means nothing for when they actually do block. Trying to reach Aaron is do nothing effects in 2 ways. It's pretty impressive. First form, look at the top card of your deck. How often is first form look at the top card of your deck going to change the first card you play?
It's weird that David's like
most of the time you're just going to play the first card you're going to play
anyway.
anyway.
In this video, when he's not,
even
like,
if you know you're going to check poorly on it, it's like, well, it just makes sense still. Enhance, commit, name a card type, reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card matches the name type, add it to your hand. So it's another way of like peeking the top and then sometimes drawing it, but a lot of times it's just doing nothing. It's changing nothing about the outcome of the game. And a 2 difficulty foundation that checks a 4 needs to be changing the outcome of games on a consistent basis. Don't get me wrong. Look, Besiege is good in a lot of decks. 3 difficulty, 3 mid, 4, that's just good stats right there. But a lot of times that blitz ability doesn't matter, and it doesn't change anything. They were going to block with the 3 block mod anyway.
Closer to the ISR on
but it feels nice, you know, and then people are like, oh, it's like pseudo 6 speed, you know. Alright, so there it was. A feels good card, has abilities that work in your mind more often than they work during games. So those are my 2 categories of feels good cards, and the examples that I've shown are far from all of them. Again, I could find hundreds of feels good cards and put them in here. I just wanted to put some higher played ones. But feels good cards are like garlic to me. I love garlic.
Wait,
and I
you can find hundreds of
anything. They were going to block
cards
with
like
the 3 block
trying
mod
to. No one
anyway.
but me has ever put that card in their deck.
They were hundreds of feels good cards and put them in here. I just wanted to put some higher played ones. But feels good cards are like garlic to me. I love garlic. Garlic is a solid spice. I'm happy that it exists on planet Earth, you know? I love garlic bread. I could eat garlic bread or Texas toast just all day, every day, if it wasn't bad for my health to do so. But my wife puts garlic in everything, and garlic does not belong in scrambled eggs. I cannot eat my wife's scrambled eggs. My wife is a great cook, by the way. But I can't eat her scrambled eggs. And my son now likes garlic in his scrambled eggs too. So now I can't eat my son's scrambled eggs. Now if I want to make scrambled eggs, I got to make it myself. Because I can't be having garlic dumped in there. And then they dump way too much garlic. My wife puts garlic on everything. And that's the same with feels good cards. Casuals play feels good cards in everything because they just feel nice doing it. You know, it gives them warm, cozy, happy feelings. And there's a time and a place for things like garlic bread, you know, like I'll play a City Rampage deck. Right now, I'm using some of these cards in my deck that I've probably been playing for Louisville. I won't tell you which ones, but I'm playing a couple of the ones that I showed today. But they're actually really good for the situation that I'm playing them in. And so, don't treat this as saying like you should never, ever, ever play these cards. But a red flag should go up in your mind. When you see a feels good card matching one of these two categories, you should just ask yourself, is this really good in my deck? Or am I just instinctively playing this? And you need to have that be a deliberate thought process, because your brain, emotionally left to itself, is going to gravitate towards the feels good cards. And I might make another video after this one where I talk about reals good that are feels bad cards. You know, feels bad cards that are actually really good and win you games. That could be its whole own video, or I could go through examples of like cards that I consider real good and never ever feels good. But this is going to basically be it for me. I'll show you these three cards that I showed you at the beginning again. Nice Try, World's Weakest Hunter, Keiko's Aid. I won't tell you why they're feels good, but armed with the knowledge of this video, I think you can figure it out on your own. And I hope that this video has been beneficial and helps you out in your deck building and playing and getting ready for Louisville in just a couple weeks, because I will be there. I'm ready to win the entire event, or just hang out with friends and have a good time. Both are good too, because it feels good. You know, feels good to be at the event surrounded by friends.
Oh my god.
So if you haven't done so already, leave this video a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, all those things the other famous YouTubers ask you to do, and then you ignore. But they continue asking it anyway, and it takes up time in the video, and then you just want to skip past it. That's why I'm throwing this at the end, but it really does help. It helps the algorithm. For as long as Universus is here, I am going to be here talking about it. All right, I'll see you next time.
Let's go. All right, now I have to decide what I'm gonna do with this this let's play of baby steps now that David's video is over. I suppose I could try to leave some thoughts in reaction. So let's try to keep playing, and that's just like for a little while until I start getting quiet, and then I'll like come in and edit it or something. So feels good, or so that's unspoken what the real good is. How to tell what a real good card is. I know. So David asked folks for, hey, can you give me some examples of feels good cards? And I kind of tried to match the vibe a little bit, and I said, well, here are two of my like comfort picks that I love putting decks, and that fill me with positive emotions. And my two cards that immediately came to mind, even like a pair of them, are Life Attune cards from Attack on Titan Extra Set 2. Is that Battle for Humanity? That's Origins of Power. That's right, yeah. It's about the arc where they find out where Titans come from. Those two cards were Ready Shot and Desperate Plea. And these are two cards that... so Desperate Plea even pattern matches onto Keiko's Aid, which is kind of the canonical example of a feels good card. And... Desperate Plea gives the agency to your opponent and says, you can choose what to do with this. You can choose, if you choose to attack me, I have to depend on you attacking me, just like Keiko's Aid does. And it's a little bit more of a certainty in its payoff. Like, you're going to get what you pay for. You're not worried about whether they're going to keep attacking you or not. Although there is an element of kind of planning around Desperate Plea, where a lot of times, if you have like a 3-diff in your hand, or if you have several high difficulty foundations in your hand, or resources in general, you might hope that they attack you so you can Desperate Plea and build them down, and you'll actually be in a significantly worse position if you don't take the risk of taking the like 3-diff, 3-diff, 3-diff kind of line, where if they don't attack you, you'll have one fewer of your powerful resource in play. And Ready Shot, I think, isn't quite like an on-hit ability or like a cycle lock ability that has a lot of variance in when it's going to be live or not, but it is a little bit like Jawtime's Bite in that it's 4 difficulty, it's kind of just fills your card pool, clogs your card pool. And it's uncertain whether or not you'll have what you're hoping to get with it. And there's definitely a very real tension in kind of how you build your deck and what important cards you have. If you have a really situational 1-diff, is it worth it to have your Ready Shot toolkit? If your toolkit gets too big, it starts crowding out your kind of just normal fundamentals stuff, which I guess is like, if you think of like, if I'm going to Ready Shot for a Fast Friendship or for an I'm With You, that's kind of bread and butter, fundamental, solid stuff versus, I don't know, something like 1x tutor target. Maybe it might be more of what he thinks of as feel good. But I think, I said I was going to skim back to where he rewrote the Bible verse.
As a casual. The Rings for a little bit, and let's turn to the scriptures, right? The Apostle Paul. I took this scripture and I translated it to UVS speak. So when I was a casual, I spake as a casual, I understood as a casual, I thought as a casual. But when I became competitive, I put away feels good cards.
Yeah, so the verse here, and it's actually, I guess, what AI bot are you using? DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, AI's assistant here, says in 1 Corinthians 13:11, I might be butchering how you say that, the Apostle Paul writes, "When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things." And I think of this reminds me actually of, who's the author who wrote, we can ask this to the AI bot, who wrote Wardrobe? What the heck? You're gonna make me click a button? Okay, I agree to your privacy terms. Jesus. Yes, AI's smart. It said who wrote Wardrobe. It said it was C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis has a quote, which I'm gonna actually ask him about. What did C.S. Lewis? This is terrible content now. I realize because I'm not capturing my browser. But what did C.S. Lewis say about this Corinthians verse? No question mark. No, this is totally not it. Maybe it wasn't C.S. Lewis, I suppose, or maybe just the bot is just vibe coding and making it up. So C.S. Lewis was responding to people who would criticize childish fiction, who would criticize books like the ones that he wrote, like fantasies that he wrote, as childish, and he said, I put away childish things. He kind of recontextualized the verse. I put away childish things such as the fear of judgment of others, such as the opinions of caring about people who are going to judge fantasies. And I think that kind of vibe kind of applies to this idea as well. I think that caring about how casuals play the game is important if you care about those casuals as people, and I think that you care about their growth as people and want them to become better players, want them to develop in the game, want them to get a deeper appreciation of the game. And I think that it's really important when you're nurturing someone like that you give them good tools. Ultimately, you give them tools that are useful to them, that will help them understand the game and that will help them make better decisions in kind of a coherent, kind of clear path. If your interest is in helping them grow, if your interest is kind of entertaining them, then you can kind of tell them whatever story you like. But you kind of think of reading your kids the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe versus reading them some AI slop that they made up, or like showing them Elsa videos on YouTube in the weird corners of YouTube. I think one of these is maybe a higher way to spend time with them, I guess, ultimately, than the other. And so I think casuals are I think playing like a casual is great. Playing like a beginner is great, and is actually very underrated. And I think that this kind of framework of feels good versus reals good, maybe there's something good here with reals good, of how to tell when something is really good. Alternatively, there's just the straightforward steel bot of kind of what I think David's trying to say. I'm not sure he says this. He might have said this explicitly in the video, and I was, there's a big complicated thought here. He talked about game plans at one point, I remember, and I commented on, like, I would love to hear what makes up a game plan. What does that mean when you talk about a game plan? And I think that's there's this idea of the curse of knowledge. Once you know something, you don't know that you know it. You don't know how much it informs your worldview. Having this idea of game plans in Universus, like, there are actually a million skills that go into playing the game. And when you talk about having a game plan, that's really your ability to exercise all of the skills you've developed. And if I just tell someone, hey, build a deck with a game plan, he actually even explicitly disclaims one of them in the video. He disclaims the mono throws game plan. He says mono throws feel good, because that's a game plan that is simple enough that everyone can get it. You play your attacks and they always deal damage. You're always making forward progress towards winning. You never have to worry about what your opponent is doing in detail, because your cards will always work. even when they're taking small steps, even when they're taking baby steps, they're still going to work. All right, I think that's a good enough point to just cut it off. I'm gonna stop the recording. I'm gonna try to get this. Maybe I'll keep recording and I'll just come in here and edit this. I will show you if and when I get the cup. Yeah, we'll challenge ourselves some rudimentary video editing. Oh.
Oh crap!
I think I. Can I just go forward? No. Make sure I don't fall down. Getting good. Stop. Oh, God. Well, that's the end of the plan for today. That was enough to make me. That's worse than what made me quit on this idea last time. So I think we're gonna start over. We're gonna take the easy way out of the Bennett Foddy pill. The end.